Hey everybody, this is Benita with the Lupus Life, and today is part 5 of my story. Um, at this point, all the previous videos, I've addressed a lot of the things that I have gone through up until and a little bit past the lupus diagnosis. Um, it was a lot, but a lot of it then was mostly about how I felt physically and how I was dealing with everything on the physical side of it. Um, the last video was more of a teaching episode to all of the viewers in reference to how to look at somebody who looks healthy but they are sick. Also, just more to bring awareness to people when you look at someone who has a handicap placard or, something to that effect, to let you know that just because you look a certain way, that does not mean that you aren't a certain way, if that makes sense. So basically, a physical or a disability or handicap is not always something that you can see with your eyes, basically. So try not to pass judgment. Again, that was the last video, but overall the first 4 parts was, again, everything that I was dealing with physically regarding my medical history, and including lupus and the cancer diagnosis, the epilepsy, the diabetes, and things like that. So part part 5 today gets a little bit beyond the physical aspect of it. It starts to talk about, or I am going to talk about, how my chronic illness affects me emotionally, mentally, and things of that nature. So this one, again, it's a lot, so I have like some notes or whatever. But this one is titled "How I Look versus How I Feel." So when I look in the mirror, I see a beautiful face. I'm sure a lot of people do too, because I know I do. But I look like I'm a normal and healthy person. But we all know from looking at past videos, and I know myself and my family knows me and everything, I look like a normal, healthy person. Now, before I get too deep into this video, I do want to say my parents watch the videos, and my mom has told me after each video that she watches, she feels bad because, again, as her child, she wants to take all of this away from me, and she watches the videos and she says, "Oh man, it's deep. I had absolutely no idea that I was going through it." Now, I talked about before how my mom is more of the emotional one, and so my dad called me yesterday, and he was like, "Hey, I feel real slighted." He's like, "I'm finding out with the rest of the world how deep all your stuff is." So he kind of let me have it out about this. So he got a sneak peek or a summary of some of the things that are to come. But like I told him, Daddy, you will get an honorable mention in this, because he made a lot of jokes, and my dad and I are a lot alike. Well, we're I say about 95% alike. Both of us kind of deal with situations in our own right, meaning we like to make jokes. As opposed to, like, my mom, she's very emotional. So I guess that's what they mean when they say opposites attract. But nonetheless, he went off on me a little bit. It was funny. We both made jokes and laughed. But so back to how I feel versus how I look. Again, I look like a very normal, healthy person. In reality, I know that is not the case. My body is fighting itself on the inside. It's like almost like my body is kind of bipolar, or just a little bit twisted in a sense, because again, it's fighting itself for no reason. Nobody asked it to. some mornings I feel like there is a little person under my bed that waits until my feet hit the floor, and then it's like bang. That little man hits my feet, my ankles, everything with a little hammer. So this is something that nobody sees, outside of my husband. Nobody sees because, again, they're not there. But every single morning, imagine every morning, as soon as your feet touch the floor, you experience all of this pain. Unfortunately, nothing I can do about it, but it's there. But again, to you, or the rest of the world, I look fine. And when I look at myself, I can't see the pain, but I feel the pain. I know the pain is there, and that pain is definitely real. So again, somebody taking a sledgehammer to your feet. That's how I feel. However, on the flip side, I feel like I am strong. I'm very strong mentally in my mind. I feel like I just can't be beat. But it's not more of I feel strong mentally because I can handle all of this that's going on. I feel strong because I'm strong enough to catch myself from falling every morning when I get out of bed. I'm not, again, an athletic person. It's not really my thing. When I was younger, I played a lot of kickball, stuff like that. But I did a lot of spelling bees and whatnot. Athletics was not my thing. So for me, I felt like, or I feel like, I'm doing something because I can catch my own body weight from hitting the floor. Now, I'm not going to say I didn't almost hit the floor, because multiple times I have almost hit the floor. But mentally, I have to brace myself every morning. I can't just, oh my goodness, I'm running late, and I hop out the bed. I can't do that. I don't have that luxury. I still have to somewhat brace myself to step out the bed, because I know that little man under my bed is waiting. So I have to prepare myself. I feel overwhelmed mentally. And I know the issues that I deal with physically are enough, but I feel very overwhelmed mentally, because even though I went through some of the things that are the things that I've dealt with thus far physically, I feel mentally overwhelmed, for one, because I just got hit with blow after blow after blow after blow. And it seems like basically every year, for the past maybe 11, 12, about 12 years at least, I have been in the hospital. Like once a year, at least for the last 12 years, I've been in the hospital, be it ER visits, multiple ER visits within a few months span, hospital stays, surgeries, diagnosis after diagnosis after diagnosis. It's like I don't ever really get a chance to have much downtime. The average person may get a diagnosis once in their lifetime, or maybe once every 10 years or something like that. But for me, it's one thing after another. I don't have much time to even attempt to process it. But again, at the same time, for me, processing it or dealing with it is more, let's just make a joke about it or whatever. Because if it's nothing I can change, there's no point, in my opinion, on harping over it or just sulking over it for me. But mentally, I feel overwhelmed. I have to take it in stride because again, it is what it is. But imagine just imagine being in a fight, say like with Floyd Mayweather, and you take one punch, but before you realize it, because he's so quick, he hits you again with another 2, 3, 4 shots. So it's just it's a lot to deal with. So I feel like all of Floyd's opponents, in terms of, every time I think I got a handle on, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Or just think of it like the first maybe 2 rounds of the fight. Floyd is filling them out, so they're getting their hits off and they think they're doing something. But in actuality, my body is in there like, every time she thinks she's on the right path, she not, and it's just like, bam, they hit me. So it's a very overwhelming feeling mentally to know that, I I'm preparing myself, or I have to try anyway to prepare myself for the next thing. And it just seems like, again, it's always something like this. I say this time last year, I was in the hospital because I had surgery. Now that was 19 March. This is March of 2019. Now March of 2020, I'm dealing with the effects of a car accident. I'm dealing with, trying to figure out what's wrong with my chest as far as these chest pains go, and having to wear a heart monitor for 30 days and stuff like that. So it's like, please figure something out. Just sometimes I wish I could have all my doctors in one room and then they're all asking us questions, and they just have one centralized chart and they just push everything else. Everybody knows everything. Sometimes that's what I feel like. I feel overwhelmed when I have to go to a new doctor or go to a doctor and I have to try to remember everything that's happened in the past or try to give them my medical history. It's very exhausting. Mentally, it's draining. Okay. I have insomnia. People can't see the insomnia, or I can't see my insomnia rather when I look in the mirror. But believe me, I know it's there. I have no problem going to sleep, but I cannot stay asleep. My husband, I don't want to wake him up in the middle of the night and watch, turn the TV on or something like that because I can't sleep. So I just sit there like 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm just looking at the ceiling. It is so annoying that your mind can't turn off. Your mind just can't say, let me get in that good sleep. For whatever reason, I wake up. So it's very exhausting. And then typically what would happen is I would get sleepy enough to where let me fall asleep. But then like 15 minutes later, my alarm goes off. So I've had very little sleep. And it's like that almost every night. And to the point where my rheumatologist actually gave me some medicine to help me sleep. And my number one concern was, is it habit forming? Which he told me it's not. One pill is enough to help me get some sleep, and I can sleep maybe to like sleep until 6:37 in the morning. Is like a great day for me. Okay, if I take 2 pills, I am completely just out of it. There's no waking me up. I won't feel anybody if they jumped in the bed. I am in that really, really good deep sleep. But that insomnia, man, is a beast. Now, as if I don't already deal with a bunch of beasts or whatever. But again, the insomnia is something that when I look in the mirror, I can't see. When I look in the mirror, I can't see that I'm overwhelmed. I can't see that I just caught myself. But in actuality, I know I have to try my best to prepare myself for this daily fight. So again, I see how I look, but I also know how I feel. I'm just, again, overall, everything that I get hit with day after day, or year after year, or time after time, medically, it is emotionally, mentally draining and exhausting. It's just, even though like you see the videos and you say to yourself, "Oh wow, that is a lot. That's a lot to go on." Can you imagine how I would feel having to go through this, having to see all these doctors, and I have to go like every few months to all these doctors, and sometimes I don't know how my bosses at my job even deal. Like, man, she always has a doctor's appointment. So that I am grateful for management at my job, because they do have a great work-life balance and they understand that life happens, and this is not something that I can control. Sometimes in my mind, I wonder if people think that I'm hypochondriac, or if people think that, oh, well, she can't really be going through these things or whatever. And, everybody reassures me, is like, no, I get it. You have a lot going on. That's a lot to deal with. And I still managed to get, everything done that I need to get done from a work perspective while dealing with all of this. So in my mind, I definitely don't see myself as Superwoman, but I see myself as somebody I know that has a true struggle. Because even before I found out about this diagnosis, I used to look at my mom and I used to think that my mom was Superwoman, because she had these kids. My dad being in the military, sometimes he was, overseas or something like that. And my mom had 4 kids at home that she had to take care of. And she got it all done. So in my mind, yeah, she was Superwoman. My dad, again, we have a lot in common. So he's always the funny guy. But, he helps to take my mind off of certain things. Like, he's always good for a laugh, which I can appreciate that. So even though a lot of times I'm mentally and physically exhausted, he has a way of helping me to take my mind off of things, whether he knows it or not. Now this next thing I'm gonna say is something that I just realized recently within the last few months. Even though I have self-confidence and I can talk about myself in terms of my flaws, and I accept it, because I believe that, if you can't laugh at yourself, you're not going to be able to handle anybody else laughing at you. But I just recently realized that I am embarrassed. Now, immediately, most people would say, well, you have nothing to be embarrassed about. But again, in my mind, how I feel very embarrassed. And not because of all of my illnesses. One main thing has me embarrassed, and that is my seizures. My seizures are, again, as I discussed previously, my seizures are not grand mal seizures. So I don't fall out on the floor, like my sister does. I don't do all of that. I have small myoclonic jerks, so it's just kind of, it looks weird. Don't laugh, but seriously, I can be talking my own business, all of a sudden I'll do something like that. It's really quick, maybe like half a second, and it might remind you of somebody with like Tourette's. No, I don't have Tourette's, but the really quick, involuntary movements is, to me, what it might look like. But the reason why I say that it is embarrassing, or I'm embarrassed, is because my family and close friends, they know that I have seizures. And sometimes it might happen, or it has happened, in public. I remember one day, my husband and I and some friends were playing. We were at Topgolf. And if you ever been to Topgolf, of course, you have basically on this ledge. You go when you play golf, and it's an open concept. It's an open ledge. So We were playing some golf, and for whatever reason, my body decided this is a good time to have a seizure. So, and I know my husband is coming from a good place, as well as any of my siblings, for instance, or my parents. They come from a good place. When they see me have a seizure, they recognize it. But my husband, for instance, this particular day, he looked and he was like, "Sit down. Are you alright? You need to eat something. Do you take your medicine?" Stuff like that. Now, I know he's coming from a good place, but some of the other people that were there had no idea what it was, or they may not have seen it. Now, me, I'm perfectly okay with, if I have the seizure, I'm gonna keep talking like it's nothing because it's nothing new in my mind. But also in my head, if they didn't say anything about it, I'm not gonna say anything about it. I'm gonna let them think what they think and keep it moving like nothing happened. But again, when my husband or my siblings or close friends or my parents or whatever, if they say, "Did you just have a seizure?" and they bring it to everybody's attention, especially those that didn't know, it's embarrassing because I feel like I'm being put on the spot for all of the wrong reasons, and all this attention is on me. And then at that point, everybody's looking at me for an explanation, like, why did you just have these involuntary movements and you look like you have Tourette's? That's just not really a discussion that I want to have. Again, I've never had a problem talking about a surface level overview of the medical issues or conditions that I have. I just feel like it's just a lot to go into extreme detail. And with people I don't know, that's not something I necessarily want to do. So I just feel like I'm being put on the spot. I feel like when it's pointed out in that manner, I feel like they're chastising me. I feel like a kid, and I'm not. But again, I understand that my family and my close friends, they are doing it from a good place. I remember a while ago, my cousin and I, which she also has an autoimmune disease or whatever. But again, not my story to tell. But we went to brunch one day. We had bottomless mimosas. We had just done our food, and I hadn't, had the mimosas or anything like that yet. But I had a really strong seizure. And again, it only lasts for a few seconds, or maybe like a half a second or so. But I know it was strong. I felt my entire body like tense up. Knocked over both of our mimosas. And do you know that this chick kept talking, didn't skip a beat in the conversation? Now, in my head, I'm like, yes, she didn't say anything. I know that she saw it. Clearly, she saw it. Including other people saw it because I almost got my jacket wet from the mimosa, and the lady behind me said, "Oh, just check your jacket or whatever. Don't want you to get it wet." So my cousin just kept it moving, and then not that long after, I had another one. Did it again. Once again, she didn't skip a beat. She kept talking. And I so appreciated that. And I let her know because even though I know it's not normal to do something like that, I like to maintain some sense of normalcy. Again, I know that I know how it looked. I looked really stupid about having a seizure. I was still seated, didn't fall or anything. But it was the fact that she did not acknowledge it. Now, I knew that she was texting my husband and was telling him what happened or whatever. And I know what he said. I knew what he was going to say, which is, blah, 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 blah. I get it. But I appreciate the fact that she didn't acknowledge it. Now, what I also appreciate is the fact that I did not have a seizure while leaving and fall on the floor. And that would have been all bad. So yeah, I feel embarrassed by my seizures, oddly enough. I feel like a burden. As much as people tell me that I'm not, I feel like a complete burden with all of my issues. Specifically, for sure, my husband. Again, talked about in a previous video, he has a very strong work ethic from like his grandfather. being, being a consistent or a constant rather in his life, and work ethic. I know my dad also over the years has taught him certain things like, you work hard, play hard, or whatever. And my husband has these two businesses. Again, Ivy Lawn Care Landscape and Music Media Entertainment. Reach out to me if you want to call for booking, or need a quote or something like that. But anyway, so he does a lot, and in my mind, I've always told him, well, I always told myself, as well as I've vocalized to him, and even other people have asked me, you don't have a problem with your husband going to a bar, getting a drink after work or whatever the case may be. Absolutely not, because I understand that my husband does a lot. Okay, he works a lot, and I don't want to bother him with the issues that I have in terms of, oh, I'm hurting or whatever. I don't want to tell him, or I don't want to wake him up and say, hey, I failed, can you help me up? No, I'm going to try to deal with it on my own. So I feel like a burden. I feel like he does enough already that I don't want to add this concern on top of it. He's a great provider for his family, but I don't want to add another layer of stress on top of him. So I feel like I'm a burden. There have been times where I was in excruciating pain and I would suffer. I remember one day I suffered on a Saturday all day. Did not call him. He went to work, he went to the bar afterwards, had to have his him time. But I suffered all day. I did not want to call him and bother him having his time. Now, he has expressed multiple times thereover, don't be like that. You're not a burden. You are my wife. I take my vows very seriously and things like that. But again, I felt like I was being selfish, or I felt like I'm just an overall burden to him if he has to stop what he's doing to come see about me. Now, that particular, or the last Saturday that I felt like that, he did end up having to take me to the emergency room. But I did not call him. And he came home that night about like maybe 1:30 in the morning. So from the time I woke up, like that Saturday morning, till 1:30 on Sunday, I was in pain and refused to call him because I did not want to be a burden. As a matter of fact, I didn't call anybody because I didn't want to be a burden. The only person that knew, only two people that knew that I was experiencing some type of discomfort was my cousin, because I was with her earlier that day, and then my kid. Neither one of them knew, excuse me, neither one of them knew the extent of the pain that I was feeling, because it also did get progressively worse throughout the day. So again, I just don't want to feel like a burden to anybody, everything that I'm going through. I feel like crap. I don't look like crap, but I feel like crap. I feel like crap because overall, again, mentally, everything weighs on me mentally. Everything that I have going on. So every day I know I'm going to wake up and it's something. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm grateful for waking up. That is the best part of what I just said. I know that I'm going to wake up with something wrong. I would much rather wake up with something wrong at this point in my life than not wake up at all. So, that being said, either way, I still feel like crap because I know it's something. Whether it be me having to deal with in the morning for the first several minutes and I get up. All right, Benita, you have to get yourself together because you know you about to hit this floor if you don't brace yourself. So I catch myself. I'm feeling strong, but I feel like crap because it hurts. It hurts. I'm like hobbling to get up, go to the bathroom, for instance, in the first thing in the morning, and it's a whole process. It's a whole mental process that I have to get ready for just to go pee in the morning after I get up. All while not waking up my husband. Now, I'm telling you right now, I feel skilled to be able to deal with that amount of pain and not wake him up. Taking 5 minutes to get to the bathroom. And I have a master suite, so I have a bathroom in my room. And I have a nice sized bedroom, but it's not that big where it should take me 5 minutes from my side of the bed to the bathroom. So again, to me, I'm skilled also because I can, go through all that and not wake him up. Now, the reality of it is he's already kind of woke because he feels me moving, and he wants to be prepared in the event that I need him to help me up. So he's told me this before, so I know reality. But again, how I see myself as a very talented and skilled. I know it's kind of a warped way of thinking, so to speak, but again, this is my story, and I'm going to tell my story the way I see fit because it's my truth. And my truth is I am very skilled. A lot of times I feel defeated because I can't fight this fight with my body and win. I mean, there's not much more I need to say about that other than I feel defeated. A lot of times I feel like a very complicated math problem being solved by a genius. I mean, I don't know how else to explain that. I'm just really complicated. When I call my primary, for instance, she says, "Hey, Benita, how you doing? What's going on? You know what? Let me call you right back in like 5 minutes because I know it's a lot of layers to you, and I need to focus my time on you." So I have her cell phone number. That's how messed up it is. I have her cell phone number, and she likes talking to me and trying to figure me out because it challenges her as a medical professional. But again, yeah, I feel like a very complicated math problem. I also know that I'm flawed, but I accept my flaws. The last video I talked about accepting your flaws and accentuating your features. I'm perfectly flawed. So the way I like to equate myself, and it's going to sound weird, I feel like if Kelly Blue Book was going to describe my condition, I would be poor, borderline fair, with a great paint job. So again, when I look in the mirror, or as I look at myself while I'm making this video, I'm like, okay, you don't look bad. You look pretty good. Below that exterior, my body is flawed. My immune system is flawed from head to toe. Internally, I am flawed, and it's okay, but it's not okay. Nobody is perfect. Everybody has flaws. I get that. Not everybody has the flaws that I have. And, even though I deal with all these things, it could be worse. So I try not to complain, which is part of the reason why I don't want to burden my husband with anything or anybody else with anything. Or I don't even, tell management at work, days that I'm feeling really bad or something like that. I just don't. So I can complain every day if I wanted to, but I don't want to. I try to look at the bright side of things, which the main bright side is I woke up. Another bright side is I have a wonderful husband. I have a beautiful daughter, but it is what it is. One thing I found out a few months ago, and to sum up how I look versus how I feel, I came to the realization, mainly with the help of my sister, my counselor, and my cousin. Out of everything that I feel, I realized that I am depressed. Maybe a shock to some, I don't have severe depression, like, oh my God, I just don't know what to do, and, nothing like that. I don't have these huge mood swings or whatever. But I have mild depression. This is what mild depression can look like. Everything that I go through, a lot of these things that I've talked about thus far in parts 1 through 4, I can talk about it now. And I knew I was experiencing some things, but I didn't realize the extent of it. So, yes, I am depressed because of all the blows that I've been, hit with. I am depressed because the mental strain it's put on me. The outward way it's gotten, reflected onto like my daughter or whatever. And another thing I realized that, I'm stressed and depressed. And I will say, everybody needs to try to keep their stress level down as much as possible, because it can affect your entire body in ways that you would not even imagine. You know, being diabetic, I did not realize that stress can cause my blood sugar levels to go haywire. At one point, my A1C, which is a 3-month blood sugar average, was at like a 9, which is really high. But I was stressed dealing with a lot of these things, and it didn't start to kind of come down until I started to see counselor and stuff like that. And I started to figure out ways how to deal and decompress and de-stress. But again, I still suffer from mild depression. I am definitely fighting it and trying to figure out how to deal. I'm not on any medication or anything like that. I don't need that. But these videos help with my creative therapy. So, again, at this point, these videos from here on out, starting with this is 5, I guess, part 5, they get more into how I'm feeling on the mental level and emotional level, and how I deal with it from within, not just the physical aspect of it. So stay tuned for my next video, and feel free to share these videos, you know, as some of you have been doing. You know, feel free to subscribe to my videos as well as to my channel, so you can kind of see my story and see how it's going, how it progressed, and things like that. So see y'all.